Yes, everybody. Welcome back in the building. I hope you guys are doing well. It looks like there is going to be so much movement left in the transfer window. And it's wild that we're saying this because we've already had the craziest window, at least in my lifetime. But it looks like this is only the start. Not just because we definitely still need to sign a center back first and foremost, in my opinion, because Kwanzaa left, Joe Gomez is out with a minor injury right now. We basically have barely any senior center back options. Not just that, you guys, but we've just sold Darwin Núñez. Yesterday, we got the here we go of Darwin moving to Al Hilal to Saudi, which is for an initial 53 million euros, and that could rise apparently to around 65 million euros. So we've recouped a decent chunk of what we paid for him years ago from Benfica. But guys, it looks like we're going to go into the market now in a strong way. The crazy part is we just raised those major funds from selling Darwin. There could still be a lot more coming in for Harvey Elliott. It seems very, very likely that Harvey will leave. And mind you, we just sold Tyler Morton to Lyon for 15 million pounds. So it seems like a pretty crazy time right now. It's a pretty crazy time in terms of outgoings, in terms of incomings. There is going to be a lot of movement, you guys. So we got to be on top of it all. Goat12 starts it off, says, "Yo, Leo, how we doing? I'm doing well, bro." Says, "I don't know why we want Barcola. We got Gakpo and Rio in that position." So I think one of the reasons why we want Barcola, and Fabrizio Romano said that apparently our scouting department views Bradley Barcola as a world-class player. Guys, the people behind the scenes at Liverpool Football Club that we know are very, very good at recruitment view him at a world-class level. Do you realize that, you guys? That's pretty unbelievable. You guys are asking me, do I want him? Bro, I'm extra excited when it's a French player, but he's just 22 years old, guys. Born in 2002, and he got 41 goal contributions last season. 41 goal contributions. And he's actually a player that we've wanted for a long time, you guys, because back in his Lyon days, when he was playing for Olympique Lyon before PSG got him, there were reliable reports saying that Liverpool really wanted him. So this is nothing new, you guys. We've wanted Bradley Barcola now for a while. And the reason why it seems like we're real interested now is because we obviously aren't dumb. We know it's going to take a major fee. Fabrice Hawkins, who's a very reliable journalist for all French players, said that he would cost minimum 100 million euros. So that's around 87 million pounds is what PSG would ask for him if he said he wanted to leave, though. They would not want to sell him unless he said he wanted to leave. And one of the reasons why Liverpool is careful of his situation is because he was in and out of the team last season. I mean, he still managed 41 goal contributions, but that's because they have Kvaradona, they have Dembele, and they have Désiré Doué. That front three is the preferred front three for PSG. So even though Barcola, of course, is an important attacker for them, he's not exactly viewed as a starter in the biggest of games, if that makes sense. But PSG absolutely want to keep him. That's what all the most reliable reports are saying. And so the only way it happens are, and like I said, Fabrice Hawkins, guys, for me, he's number one for French players. He has the best connections with the French players. And he said it would only happen with two conditions. One, if he indicated that he wanted to leave. And two, if a club could table an offer of around 100 million euros or more. So like I said, that's around 87 million pounds. So the reason why you guys are saying I want both, the reason why I said the poll, who would you rather sign? It's because there was a report from Fabrizio Romano as well that said, and this was yesterday, you guys, right? Yesterday, last night, that if Newcastle don't open the doors for a sale of Alexander Isak, Bradley Barcola is the dream winger target internally at Liverpool. So I definitely don't think both happen, you guys, all right? I know it feels like we're playing FIFA career mode save right now, this window, but I don't see a world where we could get Alexander Isak and also get Bradley Barcola because, mind you, we still have to sign a center back or two. So this wouldn't be the only business left in this window, if you guys get what I'm saying. But Deliora says, what about Isak? Are we canceling that? No, I definitely don't think so. But Deliora, you have to have a plan B in life, no matter what happens, you know? And right now we're really short of options. We could go into this season having lost 4 of our attackers last season because there was obviously the tragedy of Diogo. We've sold Darwin. We've sold Luis Diaz. And Chiesa is like 99% sure to leave. Atalanta want him. And he just doesn't seem like he's in Slot's plans. And Chiesa wants minutes next season. So 4 of our 6 attackers last season are very likely to leave, with 3 of them having already gone. And to add on top of that, Harvey Elliott, I think, will leave this summer. So that's a major shakeup in our squad. Major shakeup. We got an Arsenal fan in the building who says Martinelli is better than Barcola. Nah, bro, I'm sorry. There's no way. He's definitely underrated. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just crazy the price tags we talk about now in football. Like, if we don't get Isak, we should go for Rodrigo. Bro, I haven't seen any really reliable rumors around Rodrigo. These rumors around Barcola the last 24 hours have been stronger rumors around Barcola than I've seen for Rodrigo the last 2 months. And anyways, it looks like he wants to stay at Real Madrid and fight for his spot. So Rodrigo, I don't think will happen. You know? We won't do it, bro. That he's unsellable for PSG. No way they signed Desiree Doué. But the question is, like Delior was saying, what's happening? I do speak French, Doogies. I live in France. I'm a City fan, but I love Liverpool too. Damn, that's rare. But yeah, like I said before, though, if it's a matter of him or Alexander Isak, and Isak is our priority striker signing or attacker signing, I think we will get Alexander Isak done. I think he will end up being a Liverpool player. But the reason why we have to have a plan B is that Newcastle are having a terrible transfer window. They can't get any player to want to come to them. The latest one is Benjamin Sesko, who looks like he's off to Man United. So if Newcastle can't get any strikers, maybe they're going to have to be forced to get Isak to stay, whether he's happy or not, at all costs, because the options that are left in the market seem very, very poor. I don't even know why. Let me know if you guys agree, but I don't get why Newcastle were never interested in Darwin Núñez. Look at the fee. I think the fixed fee Saudi paid for Darwin is £46 million. That's not that much in this market. If I was Newcastle, I would have gone for Darwin, especially given Liverpool have a prized possession they really want. So I think we would have been really kind in the negotiations for Darwin. But do you guys agree? Aren't you guys a little bit surprised that Newcastle weren't interested at all in Darwin? Because if it's between spending like £45 million on Darwin or 85 on like a Nicholas Jackson, I would go for Darwin any day. Any day. Because he also has that Premier League experience, you know? Just hasn't worked out at Liverpool, but you can tell the talent is there, you know? Patrick says, so do you reckon Barcola is so versatile that he can even play on the right when Salah goes to AFCON? Or will he primarily be playing on the left? He's that versatile that he could also play on the right. He is. And I think that's why we view him. That's why we're so interested in him, because it was said earlier in their summer that Liverpool wanted real versatile attackers. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've been heavily linked with Fofana from Lyon as well, because he can play on both sides. And I think we love that. We love that because of how Slot is going to play with a very fluid system like PSG play. I would not sell Darwin to a Premier League team. I would if it's Newcastle. If it was to Newcastle and it helped us get Isak, I would have sold him to Newcastle 100%. You're going to love the French link up in the team. Yeah, I would love Bradley Barcola. I would love a front three to be 2 Frenchies with Mohamed Salah. That would be insane. But obviously, will Liverpool be missing Darwin? Not if we sign Alexander Isak, because then we'd have 2 top strikers. So absolutely not. We won't be missing Darwin if we sign Isak. But if we don't sign Isak and Ekitike is our only real striker options going into the season, then we will miss him, yes. Because you want at least 2 strikers, you know? But even if we don't get Isak, we will sign other attackers. There's no doubt about it. Oh, it's Bilal. Do you want me to make that video today? On how I became a Liverpool fan. I can make that video today. Have you ever been to Poland? Yes, I have. To Gdansk. Or however you say it, Dansk. Danzig. Uchiwa says, hey Leo, I'm not worrying too much about Isak because we've got a baller in Ekitike. Barcola would be a nice addition alongside our weapons. Absolutely. Dutch FC turning into French FC now. I ain't gonna complain, bro. If we're turning into French FC, I am not complaining whatsoever, bro. I would love that. Yo, Theo, nice to see you in the building. I don't know. People say his end product isn't world class, but go 12. He's 22 years old and he got 41 goal contributions last season. So I feel like for people that are saying his finishing's not great, like, I don't know. He's definitely worth 100 million euros in this market. If an Hugo Ekitike is worth 95 million euros, he's worth 100 million euros. He's worth around the same for sure. You know? Patrick says, and another thing, what would be the maximum price we should be paying Barcola for in this market? Because a lot of players have inflated prices. I mean, technically, if we paid 95 million euros, if his add-ons are met for Ekitike, I almost think, and I don't want PSG to hear this because it would not help us in the negotiations, but for me, Barcola should be more expensive than Ekitike because Ekitike had one top season, really, in his footballing career so far. They're around the same age. But Barcola has proven that he can do it in the Champions League. He's had really great performances in the Champions League, which Ekitike hasn't. So for me, he should be right around the same price as Ekitike, if not a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, he's proven it a bit more. Yeah, even when I look in 2022, 2023, he had a season for Lyon where he got 16 goal contributions. In 31 games. So I would say that's a top season that he had for Lyon a few years ago. So I do believe he's proven. You know, and again, he's just 22 years old. So he's an incredible talent. I mean, you say he's benched at PSG, but he played 64 games last season. Barcola played 64 games last season for PSG and got 41 goal contributions. And then I can tell you his other stats. Look, hold on. For those of you saying he's not good in front of goal or he's getting benched, this and that, I'll tell you another stat that I saw about Barcola that's insane. Yeah, so this is from Bence Bosak, who says he can play on the left and the right. Even he's played in the central role in the past. He's averaging 0.83 goal contributions per 90 in 103 PSG games. That's almost a goal contribution every single game for PSG in 103 PSG games. And some of those he's coming off the bench. That's wild. Hey, Francesco, nice to see you in the building. Yeah, and I'll be live as well on Sunday. I'm so excited for the watch along for the Community Shield final. I cannot wait. But who's better, Ekitike or Isak or Barcola? I mean, out of those three, there's no doubt that it's Alexander Isak. He's more proven at the highest level, and that's why his price tag is almost double of Barcola or double Ekitike. You know, right now, the price Newcastle are holding out for is 150 million pounds. How much is that in euros? Let me check. Newcastle are holding out for 173 million euros. That's what Newcastle won for Alexander Isak, 173 million euros. And as crazy as that sounds, in a market where Ekitike goes for 95 million euros, it's not that wild because Alexander Isak is totally proven at the Premier League level. And it's not just that. When you look at Alexander Isak last season, what I think brings him even more value is you look in the big games, look at the Carabao Cup final against Arsenal, against Liverpool, against the top teams, Alexander Isak performed. And so he's proven, not just that he's Premier League proven, but I think he's proven in the big games, and that's worth so much in this market. Yeah, for me, he's up there with the best striker in the world, 100%. 100%. Torres shirt looking clean. Yes, bro. I just received this shirt too. Hi, Leo. I'm going to the Community Shield final. I'm leaving tomorrow. Oh, it's Frosty. Enjoy. That's going to be incredible. I can't wait for the watch along of that one. Who's better, Wirtz or Isak, bro? They're such different players. Such different players. You could say both are world class. What do you think of our current center back situation? Bro, we absolutely need to sign a center back, if not two. Leo, what's your starting midfield for the upcoming season with a bunch of really good players we have now? Do you think it'll be hard to find the right balance? Nah, it won't be hard at all. We have 4 top options, and all 4 of our midfielders will get a ton of playing time. I can tell you what the starting 11 this Sunday and then against Bournemouth is going to be. I'll tell you right now. This weekend, our midfield 3 is absolutely going to be Gravenberch, Soboslai, and Florian Wirtz. I could bet a lot of money that it'll be that middle 3. Why? Because Maka is returning from an injury. And not just that, Gravenberch is going to be suspended for our first game against Bournemouth. So I can tell you, I just told you, our midfield 3 in the Community Shield final is going to be Gravenberch, Soboslai, and Florian Wirtz. And then our midfield 3 against Bournemouth, first day of the season, next Friday, is going to be Soboslai, Maka, and Florian Wirtz. And this is what I mean. Throughout the season, sometimes we're going to need to rotate. So those 4 midfield options are going to be coming in and out. Just like you're seeing, Gravenberch suspended. Maybe one game Maka needs a rest. Gravenberch needs a rest. Who knows? But the fact we can rotate with 3 elite midfielders that we're talking about here, that's the luxury you need to win the biggest competitions. And it's already being proven at the beginning of the season where Maka is returning from an injury, so we don't want to force him right away. And then the second game of the season, one of those midfielders is suspended. So I think the answer is right there for us to see that we need that depth in positions. Because in a season where you can play more than 50 games, you're not going to play the exact same midfield for 50 games in a row. Otherwise, our team would be filled with injuries. And we won't win any trophies. I can guarantee you that. LFC Kid, nice to see you in the building. What's good? Yo, Yamal, I'm doing well. How are you? Yo, Abbas, nice to see you in the building. First, Aisa says, for center backs, I think we should go for Marghehi and Giovanni Leoni. They are superb. Yeah, guys, just for a sec, I want to talk about Giovanni Leoni, the center back from Parma. He's 18 years old, 6'5". And everything I'm seeing, I listened to a few journalists and also content creators who watch the Italian league. Bro, they say this kid, Giovanni Leoni, is the real deal. The real deal. Inter want him, Juve want him. All the top clubs in Italy are pushing to sign him. But apparently, we're going to lose the race to sign him. And why are we losing the race to sign him? Because apparently Inter Milan specifically, and apparently Juve would be able to as well, can guarantee him more minutes than Liverpool could. The problem is, because Ibu Konate is likely going to stay at the club, you know center back is a position you tend to rotate less. So if you're Giovanni Leoni and it's about to be a World Cup year, are you going to go to Liverpool where you're going to be a bench player for most of the time? Or are you still going to go to a top club in Italy, like I said, Inter Milan or Juve, and play a lot more games? Unfortunately, I see him choosing the Italian option. Unfortunately, guys. And like I said, I'm not saying that I've watched him. I really haven't. But the fact that all the people I follow who do know a lot about the Italian league say this kid is a gem. And whoever gets him, because the fee wouldn't be that much, I think it would be between 30 to 40 million euros for such a gem, would be a bargain. And unfortunately, it seems like we could really lose out on that race. Unfortunately. And it is what it is. You know, big up, stay hydrated. Yes, bro. Kaya, thank you for the super chat. Who says, I met you outside of Anfield. You signed my flag. Yes, Kaya. How are you doing? How do you feel about the Barcola signing? I really hope I'll be able to go back to Anfield soon this season. Yo, Coldomar, nice to see you. You got the away shirt of Liverpool. Did you get it with anyone on the back? I like Bradley Barcola, but he's not Prem proven. Football Card Creator says, do you think that we'll sign Isak before the end of the window? Right now, I would say yes. But we'll have to see how things move. If Newcastle truly can't buy a striker, then I don't know. Maybe they're truly going to force him to stay. You know what I'm saying? Joseph says, my team to face Palace on Sunday is Alisson, Kirkez, Van Dijk, Konate, Frimpong, Wirtz, Gravenberch, Soboslai, Gakpo, Ekitike, Salah. Joseph, I think you're 100% spot on. That's exactly the team I would say for Sunday, and I'll probably make a video on that. But I think that's 100% going to be the team. I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. That's the one I would go for. Because like I said, Maka is still returning from injury. Gravenberch is going to be suspended for the next game. And Connor Bradley is out injured. And Alisson is back. So I completely agree with that team. Very strong team. Thank you, Kaya. But yeah, Kaya asked you, would you want to sign Bradley Barcola? Yeah, Newcastle have no pull. And that's why maybe they're going to force him to stay. But what does give me... Am I my graduation party? Congratulations on your graduation. But yeah, But will Costas leave? I think big chance. I mean, I'm not exactly sure if it's going to be Costas or Robbo. I think it's whichever bigger bid will receive. But one of the two will leave, 100%. Will you remove the Darwin and Lucho emojis? Oh yeah, guys, let me know in the chat. What would you like? But yeah, the one we're gonna be keeping forever though is Diogo forever. We're gonna be keeping that one forever. Joseph, Charlotte, nice to see you in the Vilnius says Frimpong emoji. Okay, Frimpong emoji is getting added 100%. And let me see what else you guys would want to see for emojis. Lucho and Darwin, unfortunately, those emojis will stay. But like I said, are you gonna be live streaming the Ballon d'Or ceremony? Yes. But when is it? And I'm also going to be live streaming the Champions League draw. I can't wait for that. I think it's on August 28th or 27th or something. Yeah, Joseph, it's been a bad window for Newcastle. Really bad window for Newcastle. Sad to see Darwin go. Oh, lucky Joseph. I haven't played football in so long now. I miss it. I really miss it. How much do you think PSG would want for Barcola? Henry, the most reliable journalist, said that PSG would sell for 100 million euros or more, but for nothing less. So that's around 87 million pounds. Around 87 million pounds. Kaya, thank you for the super chat again, who says Barcola always stood out for me. So yes, if not Isak. I agree. Leo, do you remember back in March, April, how blessed and grateful we were feeling to sign Kirkez and Frimpong? Now we barely mention them. What a crazy window. Exactly. It's wild. And even last night, I was seeing people having arguments about whether who would we rather sign, Bradley Barcola or Isak. I mean, that's technically what we're just saying now. But think about the luxury we're in, the fact that we're just having conversations right now about, do we want Isak or Barcola, who are two of the best attackers in the world? And we've already signed Ekitike, Verts, Frimpong, Kirkez, Mamadashvili. Like, it's just wild how these are the conversations we're having. But, it's all thanks to Jurgen. It's all thanks to Jurgen and the last season from Slot. A lot of money came in because of how we performed, finishing first in the Champions League group stages and the fact that we won the Premier League. So thank you, Arne Slot, for bringing a lot of money for how we performed last season, but even more so Jurgen Klopp. The fact that, every season we improved, our position improved, and that's why we're able to spend the way that we are this summer. It's not magically out of nowhere like City, who just got these new orders. This is a very different thing. This is like every year we improved. New training ground, more seats at Anfield. All of these things add to us being able to spend more, and then also not spending much in the last few windows. But who else would you guys want to see? Stickers, emojis on top of Frimpong. Last time someone was asking about one, but I can't remember. I think a Verts one. No? What do you guys think? Florian Verts. Let me see. Or a Rio. Guys, there's not much space for new stickers, so I'm thinking Verts, Frimpong, and Rio. What do you guys think? Joseph, I can't add that many. There's no new positions, so I'd have to replace the current ones because we're less members than last season. So, do you get what I'm saying? Let me show you. Hold on, let me show you. Right now, badges and emojis. Right now we're 83 members, which is less than last season, so we can add more, but let me show you guys. Yeah, we can add more. So we'd have to replace, maybe we replace, for example, the Stevie G one, maybe Chiesa, because he's going to be leaving. Maybe the Champions one, because we're not the new season. Oh, there is already a Frimpong one. Guys, do you see the Frimpong sticker? There's already a Frimpong one. You guys missed it? And we do have a Vert sticker. Jeez, I completely forgot about those. Yo. And Ekitike. Leo getting old and forgetful. Absolutely. Edwards and Hughes sticker. Francesco, I like that. The Ballon d'Or ceremony, Leo, is today? No way. The nominations are out, but I don't think that means it's today, is it? I don't think that means it's today, right? Right? Yes, Charlotte, big up, who's become a community support member as well. I want W's in the building for Charlotte. So you can spam those emojis and the ones that I forget as well. Do you think Rio will get a lot of game time this season? It depends on the attackers that we sign. Depends. It's been all hydrate for us to sign Isak. That's the one we need to get done. Isak and Margehi. Yeah, the ceremony is usually in October or November. October or November. Leo, you're the best, bro. I love you. Do you remember me? Yes, Kaya, I do remember you. When we met outside of Anfield. The men's club of the year nominees are Liverpool, Botafogo, Chelsea, Barcelona, and PSG. That sounds fair. That sounds fair. You know? Freddie, I would maybe put Spurs just because actually where they finished in the Premier, but still it was so special for them to win a trophy. Thank you, Freddie, for the support as well. I'm tense now. Are you serious? I just came back. Why are you tense? Anislot is one of the nominees for the managers of the years. Absolutely deserved. I love the stickers. Big up. Arsenal is the best club in the world. Still loves the stickers. Big up, bro. Alisson Becker, he's the good. How do you feel about Isak not training with Newcastle? Bro, he's really forcing the move. He just needs to hand in a transfer request now. Yes, exactly. It's Bilal. Exactly. Gravenberg can play in the Community Shield final, but he'll be suspended for the first league game. Exactly. Gonna miss Son in the Premier League. He was incredible. Absolutely incredible. What number do you think Barcola would get? Okay, now we're getting ahead of ourselves, bro. We haven't even... That's too early. Thank you, Direct Plays, for coming onto YouTube. Because I can't see the chat on TikTok. I doubt you'll be able to sign him. Yeah, PSG, exactly. They want to keep him. PZ5, the most reliable journalist around French players, said the only way it would happen is if he wanted to move out. Because he's not a starter in the biggest of games. because their front three right now is Kvaratskhelia, Kvaradona, Dembele, and Desiré Doué. Andy, by becoming a member, you can use the stickers. Charlie, I want to see you using them stickers. We should trust Rio. The Barcola signing will limit Rio's playing time. I mean, I think it's all up to Slot. You know what I mean? It's all up to Slot. But I definitely want to see more. What did you think of Lucho's debut against Lyon? I didn't watch the game. I don't know what the hydrate. If there was an iconic pick of a Liverpool player hydrating, I would do it. But there's no iconic pick like that. We need defenders. Who's our targets? Like I said, Giovanni Leoni is someone we apparently really want from Parma, but I think Inter or Juve will end up winning the race. I think they'll end up winning the race. W's in the building for Kaya. Showing the support. Big up. I want W's in the building right now. Do you think Isak will get the number 9? Yes, if he joins. If he joins, he would get the number 9. Look how Wirtz got a star number. He was our transfer record signing. Now, if Isak joins, he would be our transfer record signing too. Victor says, do you think Isak will put in a transfer request? It feels like the relationship is broken anyway. Would be a shock if he ends up staying there after all, hoping we land him. Yep. And apparently, Melissa Reddy is one of the most reliable journalists, so she would not have said this had she not had info that it was true. She said that Alexander Isak made it clear from last season that he wanted it to be his last season at Newcastle. So for people saying, oh, Isak is behaving so badly, he's leaving Newcastle in the mud, this is partly Newcastle's fault too. They should have been prepared because he said from a while back that he wanted to leave, you know? And the reality is Newcastle tried for many strikers. Like earlier in the window, they tried for João Pedro. They weren't able to do it. They tried for a lot of strikers. None of it was successful for them. So I think this is a large part. The reason why it's gone ugly now is because Newcastle haven't been able to do the job on their end. You know what I mean? They've handled it really poorly, in my opinion. You know, so for people like talking badly about the way Isak is behaving, I don't think that's fair. I really don't think that's fair. Because I also think it's very much the club's responsibility, you know, because if he felt last season was his last season with Newcastle, boy, was he professional on the pitch because he performed at an elite level. He delivered them their first trophy in God knows how many years, you know, but he really gave it everything. And what's he also going to give now? He's going to give them back a British transfer record fee. So he delivered on the pitch, and now he's going to deliver off the pitch by getting Newcastle record numbers. And it's not our fault. It's not his fault that Newcastle just can't land their targets. You know, whoever's the sporting director is not doing well. You know, Jordan Joyce says, thank you for the super chat. Jordan Joyce, who says, do you think we get Isak? Yes, I think we get Isak. And the main reason why I am confident is even if Newcastle end up having to go for, let's say they end up going for Nicholas Jackson and Visa from Brentford, right? Probably not their dream because they're still going to have to spend big on them. And neither of them are proven to be that elite, or at least potential to be elite. Probably not, right? Even though Nicholas Jackson probably has become underrated. But anyways, you get what I'm saying? I think if they forced Alexander Isak to stay, especially the info that we now know that he made it clear last season that he wanted to be his last season. So he told them way in advance. So he gave them precaution, if that makes sense. And then they still forced him to stay when one of the biggest clubs in the world that wanted him. Then I think it could unsettle the entire dressing room. I think it could be a disaster for Newcastle. Why? Because I think if you're a Bruno, I think if you're a Tonali, who have the potential to play for a PSG, for a Real Madrid, for a Barcelona, for a Liverpool, which I think is the top 4 clubs right now in the world, if he'll think, damn, if one of those top 4 clubs come for me and they're willing to pay record money for me, so like as in, you know, they're willing to pay the market price and Newcastle still blocks it, I don't want to be at Newcastle anymore. I don't want to be at a club that can't compete for the Premier League or the Champions League and yet will block me if I get my dream move. Do you guys get what I'm saying? And then that also will be very bad, even worse for their recruitment. Because let's say you're a Benjamin Sesko and you're a high potential young player and you're seeing that Newcastle won't let their star players go if they have a chance to move to a top 4 club in the world. You don't want to go to that club. Do you get what I'm saying? And I see there's a Newcastle fan who says, how can he say he wanted to have his last year after he signed a 5-year contract? He signed a 5-year contract because that would have helped Newcastle to sell him. Coutinho did a similar thing with us, I believe, to then help Newcastle get a record fee. Like, trust me, Project NUFC, Melissa Reddy is one of the most reliable journalists in England. I promise you that. She would not have said that if she didn't get the reliable info around it. Trust me. And she's the one that reported that he internally said to Newcastle last season that he wanted it to be his last season. Trust me. And this is what I mean. It's no disrespect to Newcastle. Pay 150 million then. Yeah, look, that's what a Newcastle fan is saying there. But this is what I mean. I think for Newcastle, forcing him to stay would be the most detrimental thing. Genuinely. I think it would. Really, it would. You know? And that's why I think in the end, they will be forced to sell him. And I think it's going to be a fee between 150 million and 110 million, which is what we bid. I think the final fee will be between 135 to 140 million pounds, which is insane money for Newcastle to be getting. You know? So that's what I mean. Kaya, thank you again for the super chat. I appreciate you. Dean, nice to see you in the building. But guys, do you agree with what I'm saying though? I want to see what you guys think. Ryan says we don't need attackers anymore. We need a center back. We need both. Bro, 4 of our 6 attackers from last season will be leaving. There was the tragedy of Jota. Darwin and Lucho have already left. And Chiesa is 99% sure to leave back to Italy. Oh, me too. Joseph, home-baked. I agree. I give 11 out of 10 too. And while you eat your pie, you have a view on Anfield. Joseph, it doesn't get any better than that. That's my go-to place as well. Thank you, Freddie Roch, for the support. I appreciate you. Jordan Hyman says, hey, bro, Leo, you'll never walk alone, Jordan. Tommy Vision. Yo, Leo, how are you? I just hit 100K. No way, Tommy Vision. You got that check mark now. Congrats. Wait, Tommy Vision. What kind of content do you make? That's crazy. You just hit 100K subscribers? Congratulations. That looks clean, too, when you have the check mark next to your name. They've stopped doing the club pie and home baked. I mean, all the pies there. Bro, I've tried all the pies. One time I got 3 of them. I was so hungry. And they were all bangers. You make Minecraft videos. Tommy, that's crazy. Crazy. Congratulations. Charlotte says, I agree 100%. Legally, Newcastle are doing nothing wrong, but if a player has told you he wants to leave with plenty of notice and good faith, bid comes in, then it's Newcastle's fault. It is. But I'm not going to lie, I could maybe see a world where he stayed hydrated. Love it. It's Bilal. But I could see a world where maybe Newcastle do force him to stay, but like I said, I think Eddie Howe is smart enough and he cares enough about team. Like, he's built an incredible team bond, I think, at Newcastle, and that's why you see them fighting like they do on that football pitch. I don't think he wants to break that, and I think it could break the team if they kept Isak, because he would be unhappy. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping for Isak, Guehi, and Barcola. Dean, you're being too greedy there. Hi, Amin. Thank you for the support. You'll never walk alone. Leo, will Liverpool still attempt Guehi? I think so, Dan. I think so. I think we're just waiting for later in the window for Crystal Palace to drop their asking price. Big up, Joseph. So it's basically on 1,000 views. Freddie, do you go to Liverpool games often? Games at Anfield? Manti says, Leo, what choice do Newcastle have if he hands in a transfer request? It could go that far. I think so. Mantis, we just saw Lookman, right? Atalanta and Inter, right, are in negotiations over the sale of Lookman. And Atalanta have rejected the latest Inter Milan bid, and he's just handed in his transfer request. I think that could end up happening if Newcastle say they won't sell Alexander Isak for anything less than 150 million pounds. Because I don't think we're going to pay 150 million pounds for Isak. I don't think we will. Because that's just ludicrous money. Like I said, I think in euros it's like 107. It's some ludicrous money in euros. But I think because of the situation, we're gonna say to Newcastle, if you won't sell him for less than 150 million pounds, we'll just wait to get him next summer because he's desperate to join Liverpool. Something like that. But that's why I think Newcastle will be forced to sell for a bit less. It's going to be something in between. Train FC says, I think we need Isak, Guehi, and a right winger to back up Salah. Now Darwin is gone. Another striker is needed. Now Akwansa is gone. A center back like Guehi is needed. Unless we keep Chiesa, we need a new winger. The only thing that's a little bit tough, Train FC, is that Guehi wants to be a starter in the biggest games for Liverpool because it's a World Cup year. If he just plays as third fiddle, like as a backup to Ibu Konate, and he plays in the domestic cups, I don't think he's going to start at the World Cup for England. That's the only problem I see right now. Do you get what I'm saying about Guehi? Victor says, looks like we'll sell Harvey also. Absolutely. And I think, you know which team I think could go big on Harvey Elliott? Spurs. James Maddison, I hope you get well soon because that the devastating news today that James Maddison got an ACL injury for Spurs and he's going to miss almost the entire season for Spurs. So Spurs were interested in Harvey Elliott. I think this could expedite their interest and push them to go big for Harvey Elliott. I really see that coming. Delior says Klopp's two underperforming signings are Naby Keita and Darwin Núñez. Goes to show how many great choices he made. Yeah. The only thing Darwin, I think Keita was way worse. Naby Keita way worse than Darwin Núñez because we basically didn't get a fee back for Naby Keita. Whereas Darwin, we recouped like 70% of what we paid for him. So, and I think he was better for Liverpool than Naby Keita. So I think you can't compare Naby Keita and Darwin, but I agree you could bring those two up because the fee we paid for them were really high fees. Really, really big fees. Record fees, basically. Has Rodrigo decided to stay at Real Madrid? Looks like it. It seems like he wants to stay and fight for his spot under Xavi Alonso. That's what I've seen. Most recently, at least. Elliot will go to Leipzig. It all depends if Xavi Simons ends up leaving. Big up, Joseph. That means it's going to get 1,000 views too. Soon. Yeah, Train FC, I think a lot of people are experiencing kit delivery delays because of how many orders. Like, there's never been more hype around a new kit. I don't think there's ever been. It's Mark. Greetings from Hong Kong. Have been watching your content for a while, Leo. Absolutely love it. And sad that Darwin is leaving. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you. Did you go see Liverpool when in Hong Kong? Leo, Barcola or Doué? If it was between the two, I would pick Barcola. Sorry, no, I would pick Désiré Doué. He's younger as well. But PSG wouldn't even sell him for 150 million. When PSG have prized possessions, they don't care about money anymore because they're such a rich club. Tomislav LFC, yes, I do remember you, who says, yo, Leo, you remember me? It's been a while and a lot has changed. I'm in middle school now, and I managed to enter programming school with a goal to become a successful person. You'll never walk alone. Congratulations, Tomislav. I'm so happy for you. Frankie says, Isak will leave Newcastle this summer as per Craig Hope. Yeah, not surprising. Transfer of the summer so far, you'd have to say Florian Wirtz. On paper. But like I said, if Gyökeres ends up being top scorer in the Premier League and Arsenal win the Premier League title, he would be the signing of the summer. So we can only say at the end of the season, but right now on paper, it is Florian Wirtz because he was a player that could get into any team in world football. And we got him, you know? Oh, the white one with Ikitike22. I'm going to do the same thing, Train FC. I'm so hyped. Rajib says, hey mate, I'm from Nepal. I think Liverpool should focus on defenders. We are all right without Isak. If we get Isak, it's cherry on top. You'll never walk alone. Yep, Rajib. But still, since it looks like Isak will leave this summer, we got to go big on him because he bring in arguably the best 9 in the world would change things. Even if we have Ekitike, who we're all excited about. Jordan, thank you for the super chat, who says, with Saudi wanting Wissa, will it push Newcastle to act? I think so. I think so. True Dreams is to go to Anfield or do a collab stream with you. I would go with my uncle to a game if we could. We both love your channel. Thank you, Freddie. And are you based in the UK, Freddie? What do you think the starting 11 will be next season if all this happens? It's hard to say right now because I think Slot is the type of manager now where he's going to have 13 or 14 players that he thinks are starters basically. And we're going to rotate. You know what I mean? So I think our starting 11 consists of basically 13, 14 players like a Soboslai, Gravenberch, Wirtz, and Maka will get so many games next season. But if you had to make a starting 11 and it was only 11 players, you'd have to leave one of them out. But the reality is all of them will get tons of playing time next season, if that makes sense. Leo, who would you want to win the World Cup, France or Iceland? Questionable 11 says, hey, Leo, hey, nice to see you. What happened to Gay Leo? Crystal Palace are asking for too much money. It seems like they're asking for £40 million. And because he has 1 year left, we want to pay for between 30 to 35 million. That's what it seems like. The reports are saying, at least. We're probably 10 million short. Ben Doak to stay, it all depends on the bids that come into the market. I think if there was a bid from a team that was 25 million pounds or higher for Ben Doak, I think we sell him. I think it all depends on what bids come in. Why did you name your channel Leo's Goals? I could do a video on that. I could do a video on that. Because now I started that longer form channel. So I could do a video on that. Leo, who's the most reliable in the UK? For Liverpool related news, I would say Paul Joyce. Otherwise, I would say David Ornstein. For me, the two best, David Ornstein, Paul Joyce. But around Newcastle news, Craig Hope has been number one. Craig Hope. He's gotten everything spot on this summer. Now I'm like a new person after all this studying. All my past is forgotten. Though I'm still rooting for Liverpool because I'm a Red forever. Love that, Tomislav. Will you be here for the watch along for the Community Shield final? It's on Sunday. Of course, it's Bilal. Good luck in studying for your exam. Good luck. Big up Hughes. I met you outside of Anfield. Big up Hughes. I'm from Ireland. Love it. I've been watching it. Also, do you think Isak or Barcola are more likely to come? Right now, Isak. Have you ever watched the Icelandic League? Yes, I went to a Kawar game last season. Kawar. Because I live close to there. So I watched because actually one of the kids that was in my class, Auspjot, he starts for Kawar. He's the right back for Kawar, which is one of the biggest teams in Iceland. A team that actually played against Liverpool in the 60s. They have that like on the stadium. But otherwise, I don't watch Icelandic football. But I did go to a game last season. Charlotte says, I used to love Romano, but less so lately. I didn't like how he handled Jota's death. Yeah, Charlotte, I understand what people are saying with that. But the only thing is, I think he brings kind of emotion aside when he does his reporting. And that's because he's just like a machine. And I don't think he means any harm when he does that. And when people are saying he's monetizing off of it, trust me, like, yes, he did 10, 15 posts. He does so many that he barely made anything from it. Trust me, it's minuscule. So he did not do that reporting to make money. It's just because that's the way that he is. And he's like a machine, you know? And so I don't think he had any malintentions when he did that, you know, for people that are saying that. I understand, like, for us, it's a real sensitive issue. But I think it's just his way of doing things. Like, he's just on top of absolutely every little update, no matter what it is, you know? And like, and I just don't think he has any bad intentions with it. So I don't think I'm in Stjarnan. What team plays in Stjarnan? Yes, there will be a watch-along stream on Sunday. I'm so excited. Football King says, I'm going to Liverpool tomorrow. Openda. I think Openda would be a good option for Newcastle. I don't think it would cost too much. But I think paying 85, bro, for Nicholas Jackson, I would not do that. Too much. Too much. Fuchs Lang says, well, you'll never walk alone from Canada. Where are you based in Canada? Riley, I'm going to make a video on that. Oh, Stjarnan. Oh, I don't know that team. I'm sorry. Do you think we'll realistically get Isak? Yes. Just concerned the center back situation. What are the likely defenders if Gehi does not come? Also, thanks. I think if Gehi does not come, it'll be a young center back. Someone like Giovanni Leoni that was mentioned before. But there's a Greek center back. There's lots of options, I'm sure, with their computers and research that they could try to find. But yeah, if it's not Gehi, I think we'll go for someone younger to be in rotation with Joe Gomez as our main center back options. And that Ibu Konate obviously will stay this season. Irv says you seem too happy about Darwin leaving. Not too happy, but I'm happy for him because I would not have wanted for his own sake to stay at Liverpool because Slot never rated him as a starting striker for him. So the fact, like, if it was either him going to earn £400,000 a week in Saudi and playing week in, week out for them, I know it's not the same level, but still, or sitting on the bench for Liverpool, I would rather he plays for him. And obviously that contract is generational wealth because he's earning £20 million a year tax-free. So it's just wild. Darwin would have been very happy about that move, like I said, because he's been wanting to leave since January. Since January, he wanted to leave. And that's not because he doesn't like the club or anything. That's just because Slot didn't rate him in his team. And that's clear to see. Otherwise, after we won the Premier League, he would have started him at striker, and he just didn't when he was fit. When are you coming to Mauritius? I want to come one day. Love from Uganda. Big up, Jackie. Big up. Hi from Jordan. You'll never walk alone, Mohammed. Nunez himself wanted the money too. Yeah, he literally said it in an interview. It was like in a joking way, but I'm not so sure he was so joking. Yeah, he's making £20,800,000 a year. That's wild. Imagine. £400,000 a week. What are the guys? I was just wondering about this. What do you think the taxes are for the highest earners of Premier League players? What are the taxes like in the UK? Like, for example, Mohamed Salah and Virgil earn around 400,000 a week at Liverpool, but how much of that will be taxed in the UK? I don't know. A decent amount, I bet. Football content. Thank you for the support. And I was watching us playing against the Athletic Club, the Athletic Bilbao games, got me even more hyped for the season. Even more hyped. When we played at our best in the second game, when we were playing our real first team, I got so hyped. And even in the first game, I got so hyped because Rio absolutely shined. And then Trey and Yoni looked good. So a lot of positives with that. Odyssey says Barcola isn't worth 100 million. I mean, if we paid 95 million for Ekitike, I think Barcola is worth around the same amount. I think so. Charlotte says, so they'll be taxed around 65% in the UK if you add it all together. Yeah, so Charlotte, this sounds crazy, but Darwin is now going to earn more than double what Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk earn. Imagine. Double. Then the best, arguably the best attacker in the world, the best defender in the world. Darwin will earn more than double. Okay? And yes, you can say that, this is him putting his career on on stop for a bit, but imagine he just goes there for 3 years, earns generational wealth, and then comes back to Europe. He could do that. You know what I'm saying? Kinu says, love the content from South Africa. Big up. Thank you for the support. Leo, do you think Ekitike is changing his number to 9 if we don't get Isak? No, because he's already chosen. He's already chosen the number 22. Maybe in the future he'll take it, you know, like Darwin was number 27 and then he changed to the number 9. But now that he's chosen his number 22, a bunch of supporters have bought the number 22 already. So I definitely don't think he's going to change to number 9. The only way the 9 gets taken is if Alexander Isak signs. Kinu from South Africa, big up. Yeah, so Irv, that means Darwin is now earning around double. So I think he's very happy about that. Double potential Ballon d'Or winner Mohamed Salah. It's wild when you think about it like that. But that's why, how could you not be happy for Darwin? And on our point of view, it just wasn't meant to be. Like I said, Slot is not the type of manager that's going to give that much time, it seems, to players he doesn't truly back, you know? Because he's just brutal with it. He has brutally high standards and he doesn't have loyalty to players like I think Klopp did. Very different style of management. Wei says, Leo, do you think we made a mistake signing Chiesa? I don't think so because from Johannesburg, big up. I don't think we made a mistake because Chiesa, the fee we paid for Chiesa was a no-risk fee. Like, if we saw him this summer, we definitely will recoup the money for him, you know? So I think it was just a no-risk signing and that we can easily sell him this summer if we want to. Scalvini is the best center-back option. Yeah, but again, if he came to Liverpool, he would want to be a starter because he can start for so many top clubs in the world, I think. Even if he's young. Bro, Bastoni is incredible, but Inter would never sell him. They would never sell him. But anyways, guys, unfortunately, I do have to go. I'm going to have lunch and then prep some videos and go on a walk. But guys, I appreciate all of your support as always. And I'm sure we're going to be back hopefully with some exciting transfer news. If not, for sure, 100% on Sunday, we're going to do a watch along for the Community Shield final. I can't wait for it. I hope we win it. We're going to go for such a strong team. And now you guys are just wild to think that we're what? Right now we're August 7th. In just about a week's time, 8 days' time, our Premier League season kicks off. My goodness. I'm so excited. But yeah, guys, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Thursday. And hopefully, like I said, there's some breaking transfer news that we can talk about. But yeah, guys, as always, thank you for the support. And I will see you guys very